Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. The question posed by this video is, are tourists actually returning to Thailand? You know, we've now been essentially reopened, especially for the vaccinated, to a sort of non-quarantine reopening. I mean, you have to spend a night in a hotel, but essentially, you know, you can get into Thailand in a pretty straightforward manner now. And the question posed is, are tourists coming? Are tourists coming in? A recent article kind of gets into this from ASEAN Now. That's ASEANnow.com. Article is titled, "It's Expats, Not Tourists That Are Visiting Thailand, Business Leader." Quoting directly, a key figure in Thailand's tourism industry pulled absolutely no punches when commenting on the country's supposed quote-unquote reopening. Tanet Suparotarangsi, chairman of the Chonburi Tourism Business Association, transliteration of Thai last names, Thai Namsakun. When I'm reading through it, I just kind of lose the plot. So if I stall when I'm doing those names, that's what it's coming from. Quoting further, echoed what people online have been saying for weeks, if not months. In an interview with business media, he said there are virtually no tourists coming into Thailand, despite the rhetoric of the government after their much vaunted reopening claims. The only arrivals are not true tourists at all, just business people, property owners, or those with families. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I have met a few people, younger people mostly, who can only be described as tourists. I mean, they're here. They've told me, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but you know, a few weeks, a few months, and then I'm going back. I have met a few people just anecdotally in the past week or so that seem to be, you know, genuinely tourists and genuinely, you know, coming here for tourism purposes. But look, this was always, especially in the first months of this, I think this was always going to be the case. You know, the people who were going to, you know, especially retirees who didn't really want to go through 2-week quarantine, I think they were kind of biding their time. I've talked to people that are even married to Thais that were just kind of waiting. For work reasons, oftentimes they weren't able to. If they worked offshore or in another country, you know, they just couldn't do a 2-week quarantine. They could not make it happen. So the long and the short of it is, yeah, I think that this was always going to be the case. There was always going to be more expats. Now, the thing to remember, we got to keep staying open because tourists plan ahead. They book months, if not a year in advance sometimes, maybe years in advance. You know, and if they think that it's shaky that Thailand may even be open, or that they could lose money as a result of booking any flights or something, they're not going to do it. You know, or they're going to wait. They're going to say, well, we'll put Thailand on the back burner as a tourist destination. So the thing I would say is, even though right at this moment we're not seeing a huge influx of tourists, you know, we need to be patient because moving forward, yeah, I think if folks understand that Thailand's gotten their situation under control, Thailand's reopened, then yeah, I think we'll probably get tourists, you know, if not this high season, next high season.